There are moments in the night when the soul speaks in symbols louder than words spoken by day. Dreams are not random fireworks of the mind. They are theaters where truth is rehearsed and battles are exposed. Long before destiny is derailed in daylight, it is often contested in the shadows of sleep. What you dismiss as imagination may be intelligence alerts encoded in metaphor, warnings wrapped in mystery. We live in an age that treats dreams as psychological debris, yet history records them as instruments of revelation, caution, and course correction. When patterns repeat when you awaken, unsettled, displaced, or diminished, it is worth asking why. Not every dream carries weight, but certain dreams carry pressure. They lean against your purpose, whispering doubt, delay, and diversion. This message is not about fear, it is about discernment. It is about recognizing that destiny, once identified, becomes contested. The night does not steal your future, but it may reveal those who try. And if something is trying to take what was entrusted to you, the first step toward recovery is awareness. Tonight we examine 7 dangerous dreams, not to empower darkness, but to expose it, confront it, and reclaim what was always meant to be yours. Dreams were never meant to replace wisdom, but neither were they meant to be ignored. From the earliest records of human history, dreams have served as a language of interruption moments, when the ordinary flow of thought is suspended so that something deeper can surface. They are not superstition, nor are they infallible prophecy. They are signals. And signals exist because something requires attention. You do not install an alarm system in a house where nothing valuable is stored, and you do not receive persistent dreams where nothing of consequence is at stake. The modern world trains us to treat dreams as mental static, leftover images from an exhausted brain. Yet this explanation collapses when the same symbols recur, when emotions linger long after waking, and when the dream leaves an imprint that refuses to fade. Randomness does not repeat with precision. Noise does not carry coherence. When a dream returns again and again, it is behaving less like fantasy and more like a message tapping insistently on the door of consciousness. Dreams often bypass the intellect because the intellect is skilled at defense. During the day, we rationalize warnings away. We negotiate with compromise. We explain delay as patience and distraction as rest. But at night, the guard is lowered. The mind no longer edits reality to make it comfortable. That is why dreams speak in symbols rather than sentences. Symbols slip past resistance. They lodge in the imagination, where truth can wait until courage catches up. To understand dreams as signals is to recognize that they do not create danger. They reveal it. A warning sign on a road does not cause the cliff it exists, because the cliff is already there. In the same way, troubling or disruptive dreams are not evidence of doom, but of value. They appear where purpose exists, where direction matters, where something is moving that could be interfered with. Destiny unchallenged would not require notification. Many dismiss spiritual significance because they fear obsession or error. That caution is valid, but neglect is not the answer. Discernment does not mean believing every dream. It means weighing them. Signals must be tested, not worshipped. They are indicators, not dictators. A dream does not override truth, character, or wisdom, but it may highlight where truth is being contested. When destiny is under pressure, dreams often shift tone. They introduce confusion where clarity once lived. They replace confidence with urgency or hesitation. They distort scale, making small obstacles appear enormous or important tools suddenly unavailable. These are not arbitrary images. They mirror internal and external conflicts that words have not yet captured. The soul recognizes the pressure before the mind has language for it. Superstition assigns power to the dream itself. Discernment assigns responsibility to the dreamer. The power does not reside in the image, it resides in the response. Ignored signals do not neutralize danger. They simply remove the advantage of preparation. Awareness restores agency. Once a signal is seen, action becomes possible. Prayer, correction, resistance, alignment. It is also crucial to understand that not all signals are dramatic. Some dreams feel strangely ordinary, yet carry an undertone of loss, misplacement, or substitution. You arrive somewhere important, but are told you are late. You reach for something familiar and find it missing. You recognize people who no longer recognize you. These dreams are subtle, but they are precise. They point to erosion, not explosion. Destiny is rarely stolen in a single moment. It is siphoned through neglect, delay, and distraction. Dreams as signals invite humility. They remind us that awareness is layered, that we do not see everything at once. They also invite courage, because seeing a warning requires the willingness to respond. It is easier to label a dream meaningless than to confront what it implies. Yet meaning ignored does not disappear, it accumulates. To treat dreams with sober attention is not to live in fear, but to live alert. The night becomes not a place of anxiety, but of intelligence gathering. When understood correctly, dreams do not enslave the dreamer, they serve them. They shine light on hidden pressure points, revealing where destiny is being tested, contested, or quietly negotiated away. The first danger is not the dream itself. The first danger is dismissing the signal and continuing forward unaware that something valuable is being targeted. The theft of destiny rarely announces itself with force. It prefers subtlety. Identity is not usually attacked head-on because confrontation awakens resistance. Instead, it is blurred, diluted, or quietly replaced. Dreams that revolve around confusion of identity, substitution, or loss of personal distinction are not about insecurity alone. They often signal an attempted erasure of calling. When you dream of wearing someone else's clothes, answering to the wrong name, or being mistaken for another, the imagery is precise. It suggests that what makes you you is under pressure. Identity is the container of destiny. Purpose cannot operate where identity is fractured, because direction depends on definition. Before a person abandons their path, they usually forget who they are on it. Dreams of being lost in familiar places, unable to recognize your own home, or watching someone else take your position are not random anxieties. They reflect an internal conflict between who you were formed to be and who circumstances are pressuring you to become. These dreams often appear during seasons of transition, promotion, or decision. Movement attracts interference. When a calling is dormant, it is ignored. When it begins to activate, resistance increases. Identity theft of the soul does not mean possession or control. It means confusion, discouragement, and comparison. It introduces the idea that your uniqueness is negotiable, that adaptation requires surrendering essence rather than refining expression. Notice how these dreams frequently involve replacement rather than destruction. Someone else occupies your seat. Your voice is present but unheard. Your work is attributed to another. This is not about envy from others, it is about displacement within yourself. The danger is not that someone else succeeds, but that you quietly accept a diminished version of your role. Destiny does not vanish, it is reassigned through consent. Such dreams often accompany waking life patterns, excessive comparison, sudden dissatisfaction with gifts once cherished, or the impulse to mimic paths that are not yours. The dream is not creating the problem, it is exposing it. Identity confusion is fertile ground for delay, because a divided sense of self cannot move with conviction. Every step feels uncertain when the destination no longer feels owned. There is also a deeper layer, memory. Dreams of forgetting your name, losing personal documents, or being unable to prove who you are point to an attempted severing from history. Identity is anchored in memory, lessons learned, promises made, markers placed along the way. When memory is disrupted, continuity is broken. Without continuity, destiny feels optional rather than inevitable. These dreams are dangerous because they normalize displacement. You wake unsettled, but functional. Life continues, yet something feels misaligned. Over time, this misalignment becomes a new normal. The greatest theft is not dramatic failure, but quiet substitution, living a life that looks acceptable while abandoning the one that was assigned. Identity theft dreams also tend to carry emotional neutrality or resignation rather than panic. This is significant. Panic would provoke resistance. Resignation breeds compliance. When the dream shows you watching rather than fighting, observing rather than objecting, it is revealing where passivity has been introduced. Destiny requires participation. When participation fades, authority follows. The corrective is not obsession with dreams, but reinforcement of identity while awake. Clarity dissolves confusion. Articulation restores ownership. Speaking aloud what you are called to do, revisiting foundational convictions, and re-engaging neglected disciplines all push back against the erosion. Identity strengthens when it is exercised. These dreams do not mean destiny is lost. They mean it is being contested. Theft requires opportunity. Opportunity arises where vigilance weakens. Awareness closes the gap. When identity is reclaimed consciously, the dreams often change tone or cease altogether, having delivered their message. The most dangerous identity theft is the one you agree with because it feels easier. Dreams that expose this are not condemning, they are merciful. They interrupt the slide before it becomes a fall. Destiny rarely collapses all at once. It is more often delayed until it feels unreachable. Dreams that revolve around missed appointments, broken vehicles, stalled movement, or endless preparation without departure reveal this tactic with unsettling clarity. You are trying to go somewhere important, yet something always interrupts. The clock moves faster than your feet. The road is known, but progress is denied. These dreams are not about laziness or incompetence. They point to resistance against forward motion. Delay is a sophisticated weapon because it masquerades as wisdom. In waking life, it sounds reasonable. Wait a little longer. Gather more information. Resolve one more issue. In dreams, however, delay becomes exaggerated and exposed. The symbolism is unmistakable. Trains depart without you. Doors close just as you arrive. Maps dissolve in your hands. The message is not that you are late by nature, but that lateness is being imposed. Interrupted assignments often appear in dreams as broken tools. A pen snaps when you need to write. A phone will not connect when you must speak. A key bends when inserted into the lock. These images point to obstruction, not absence of ability. The tool exists, the calling remains, but functionality is compromised. This is particularly dangerous because it tempts self-doubt. You begin to question your readiness rather than recognizing interference. Such dreams frequently coincide with seasons where clarity has been given, but execution hesitates. Vision without movement creates tension, and tension seeks relief. Delay promises relief by postponement, but it delivers erosion. The longer something waits unused, the easier it becomes to abandon. Dreams reveal this erosion before it becomes permanent. There is also the motif of endless preparation. You are packing but never leave. Studying but never tested. Dressing but never seen. Preparation is valuable, but only when it leads somewhere. Dreams that trap you in readiness expose a counterfeit safety. Being almost there feels responsible, yet it avoids risk. Destiny requires departure. No journey begins fully prepared. Interrupted assignments also show up as sudden diversions. The route changes unexpectedly. An urgent but irrelevant task appears. A crisis demands attention just before completion. In the dream, these diversions feel justified. That is what makes them dangerous. Distraction rarely announces itself as sabotage. It arrives dressed as necessity. These dreams are not accusations, they are diagnostics. They ask where momentum has been traded for maintenance, where movement has been replaced by motion. Running in place expends energy without progress. The soul recognizes this stagnation even when the schedule is full. Dreams give it language. Another recurring image is the presence of authority figures who withhold permission. Someone tells you to wait. Approval is always pending. Requirements keep changing. This reflects an internalized loss of authority. When permission is sought from the wrong sources, destiny stalls. Dreams reveal whether authority has been surrendered to fear, opinion, or comfort. Delayed destiny dreams often carry frustration rather than fear. Frustration indicates awareness. Something knows it should be moving. That awareness is a gift. Without it, stagnation would feel normal. The irritation you feel upon waking is evidence that resignation has not yet won. The danger is not the delay itself, but acclimation to it. When delay becomes familiar, urgency fades. What was once intolerable becomes routine. Dreams resist this normalization by exaggerating the obstruction until it can no longer be ignored. The remedy is decisive movement, even if imperfect. Momentum breaks resistance. Dreams of delay often diminish when small, intentional steps are taken in waking life. Action restores flow. Authority returns when exercised. These dreams do not predict failure. They warn against passivity. They reveal that destiny is intact but contested at the point of execution. The assignment still stands. The question is whether movement will resume before delay convinces you that waiting is obedience. Destiny delayed too long begins to feel optional. Dreams that expose this lie are acts of preservation, not condemnation. Not every threat to destiny appears dark or destructive. Some arrive polished, reasonable, and even attractive. Dreams that present alternative paths, ones that seem safer, easier, or more immediately rewarding, are among the most dangerous because they do not oppose purpose outright. They imitate it. In these dreams, nothing looks evil. The road is smooth, the environment is pleasant. The choice feels logical. And that is precisely the warning. Counterfeit paths rarely deny calling. They redefine it. In dreams, this often appears as doing something similar to what you are meant to do, but without resistance, cost, or consequence. You are active, productive, even praised, yet something feels hollow. The dream lacks opposition, but it also lacks weight. Fulfillment is replaced with comfort. Meaning is substituted with efficiency. These dreams expose a subtle deception, the idea that destiny should always feel natural, affirming, and uncomplicated. True purpose, while life-giving, often involves tension because it stretches capacity and demands growth. Counterfeit paths remove tension by removing depth. They offer outcomes without transformation. Notice how these dreams often include persuasive guides. Someone knowledgeable explains why this route is better. The explanation is coherent. The logic is sound. Yet logic divorced from calling becomes misdirection. The dream is not criticizing reasoning. It is revealing misplaced authority. When guidance prioritizes ease over alignment, it is no longer guidance, it is negotiation. Another common symbol is the fork in the road, where one path is narrow or uncertain and the other wide and well lit. The dream does not force a choice. It observes your inclination. This is important. Counterfeits rely on consent. They do not abduct destiny. They invite it to downgrade itself. These dreams are dangerous because they appeal to fatigue. When someone has endured resistance, delay, or opposition, the promise of relief becomes seductive. A counterfeit path whispers, "You've done enough. You've proven yourself. This is close enough." Dreams reveal when wariness is being leveraged into compromise. There is also the theme of substitution of impact. You may dream of helping fewer people in exchange for more security or trading influence for stability. Nothing immoral occurs. Nothing obviously wrong happens. Yet scale and significance shrink. Destiny is not destroyed, it is resized to fit comfort. That is theft by reduction. Such dreams often come with a sense of relief upon waking, followed by unease. Relief because the pressure seemed to lift. Unease because something essential felt missing. That emotional contrast is the signal. Counterfeits soothe the flesh, but unsettle the spirit. The danger deepens when these dreams repeat during seasons of decision. Timing matters. Counterfeit opportunities rarely appear when nothing is at stake. They emerge when commitment is required, when a threshold is near. Dreams reveal that not every open door is aligned, and not every opportunity is aligned, and not every opportunity is authorization. Counterfeit paths also tend to isolate. In the dream, you may walk alone, detached from mentors, history, or accountability. Independence feels empowering, but it quietly removes reference points. Without reference, direction becomes subjective. Destiny becomes preference. The corrective is discernment anchored in original calling. What was entrusted at the beginning matters. Early convictions, core assignments, and foundational values act as filters. Counterfeits dissolve under comparison. They cannot replicate origin. These dreams are not warnings against change. They are warnings against replacement. Growth refines destiny. Counterfeits redefine it. One demands courage, the other offers relief. The greatest deception is not choosing the wrong path, but convincing yourself it is the same one. Dreams that expose this are protective. They pull back the curtain on options that would slowly reroute a life without ever appearing hostile. Destiny is not only opposed by resistance, it is also tempted by imitation. Dreams that reveal counterfeit paths are not meant to frighten, but to sharpen perception so that when the choice appears in daylight, it is recognized for what it truly is. Fear is rarely introduced as terror. It is usually introduced as caution. Dreams that carry fear are not always nightmares filled with chaos and threat. Many are quiet, restrained, and emotionally heavy. You sense danger without seeing its source. You feel watched, chased, or exposed, yet nothing ever fully appears. These dreams are dangerous not because of what happens in them, but because of what they condition you to accept afterward. Fear functions as a preparatory emotion. It prepares the mind to retreat before a threat is even confirmed. In dreams, this preparation is exaggerated so it can be recognized. You hesitate to open a door. You freeze before speaking. You wait just before acting. The dream is revealing how fear interrupts initiative. Destiny requires motion, and fear specializes in immobilization. One of the most common fear-based dreams involves pursuit. Something is chasing you, but you never turn to confront it. The identity of the threat remains undefined. This is significant. An unnamed fear has greater power than a known one. When fear lacks form, it fills every possibility. The dream exposes how anxiety multiplies when left unchallenged. What is never faced is never diminished. Another expression appears as exposure. You are unprepared, underdressed, or suddenly visible. The fear is not of harm, but of being seen. These dreams point to a fear of scrutiny, judgment, or failure. Destiny often requires visibility, and fear resists exposure because exposure invites evaluation. The dream reveals where fear has attached itself to identity, whispering that hiding is safer than obedience. Fear also appears as catastrophic expectation. Small actions in the dream lead to exaggerated consequences. A minor mistake causes collapse. A single word triggers rejection. These distorted outcomes reveal how fear magnifies risk while minimizing resilience. The dream is not predicting disaster. It is revealing a lens that has been warped by apprehension. These dreams are dangerous because fear is contagious. Once accepted internally, it spreads into decision-making, relationships, and timing. Fear begins to sound like wisdom. Now is not the right moment. Someone else could do this better. The cost is too high. Dreams strip these phrases of their logic and reveal the emotion beneath them. Notice how fear-based dreams often end without resolution. You wait before escape or confrontation. This unfinished narrative mirrors the waking pattern, avoidance without closure. Destiny stalls, not because fear exists, but because it is never addressed. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the refusal to let fear decide. Fear also erodes authority. In dreams, you may find your voice failing, your strength diminished, your presence ignored. Authority is internal before it is external. When fear is internalized, authority leaks away. The dream reveals where confidence has been negotiated down through intimidation that has never actually materialized. There is also a communal dimension. Some dreams place you in environments where fear is normalized. Others panic, run, or hide, and you follow instinctively. These dreams expose how fear is learned socially. Destiny often requires standing apart, and fear resists isolation. It pressures conformity, even when the crowd is wrong. The weaponization of fear is effective because it does not demand surrender all at once. It only asks for hesitation. One pause becomes another. One delay becomes a habit. Dreams accelerate this process so it can be recognized. They show the end result of unchecked fear, paralysis. Yet fear-based dreams often contain a hidden gift. The threat never actually touches you. The disaster never fully arrives. This is not accidental. It reveals that fear's power lies in anticipation, not reality. The dream dramatizes the emotion without validating it. The response is not denial, but confrontation. Naming fear reduces it. Action, even small, dismantles it. When fear is faced in waking life, these dreams lose intensity or transform into dreams of testing rather than terror. Tests strengthen. Terror weakens. Fear does not steal destiny by force. It persuades destiny to step aside. Dreams that expose fear's tactics are not meant to shame, but to awaken resolve. They remind you that courage is not a personality trait. It is a decision repeated. The most dangerous fear is not the one you feel, but the one you obey. Dreams that reveal this are invitations to reclaim authority before hesitation becomes identity. Memory is more than recollection. It is continuity. Destiny unfolds along a line that connects past promise, present obedience, and future fulfillment. Dreams that disturb memory, where landmarks disappear, history is rewritten, or familiarity dissolves signal, an attempt to sever that line. When memory is compromised, direction becomes negotiable. You can be led anywhere if you no longer remember where you came from or why you started. These dreams often appear deceptively calm. You are not in danger. You are simply unsure. Streets have changed names. Faces are familiar but unnamed. You know something mattered once, but you cannot recall what it was. This is not chaos. It is erosion. The danger lies in the subtlety. Without memory, urgency fades. Purpose becomes optional rather than anchored. Dreams of losing records, books, or written instructions are especially significant. Written things represent covenant agreements, commitments, truths established outside emotion. When these vanish in a dream, it suggests pressure against permanence. The implication is not that the covenant never existed, but that access to it is being obstructed. If you cannot reference what was promised, you are more easily persuaded to accept substitutes. Another recurring image is the absence of witnesses. You remember something important, but no one else does. Your account is questioned. Your certainty is challenged. Over time, doubt creeps in. Was it real? Did it matter? These dreams reveal how isolation can undermine conviction. Destiny reinforced by memory requires reinforcement by testimony reminders, markers, and shared language. Memory distortion dreams also include rearranged chronology. Events occur out of order. Outcomes precede actions. This creates confusion about cause and effect. When chronology is broken, responsibility blurs. The dream exposes a vulnerability. If you cannot trace how you arrived here, you may not know how to move forward. There is often a grief beneath these dreams, even if it is muted. Something precious feels lost, but not mourned. Unmourned loss hardens into resignation. The dream surfaces this loss before resignation finalizes it. It asks you to notice what has faded so it can be retrieved. Landmarks are another key symbol. In dreams, landmarks disappear, move, or lose significance. A place that once guided you no longer stands out. Landmarks represent milestones, moments of confirmation, clarity, or decision. When they are erased, progress feels aimless. The dream is not erasing them. It is revealing that their significance has been neglected. The danger here is not forgetting facts, but forgetting meaning. You may remember events but forget why they mattered. Destiny depends on remembered meaning. When meaning fades, endurance collapses. You no longer know what the cost is for, so the cost feels unjustified. These dreams also reveal how distraction contributes to erasure. Constant noise fragments attention. Fragmented attention weakens memory. Over time, what once guided becomes background. The dream condenses this process into a single experience of loss, so it can be recognized. Restoration begins with intentional remembrance, revisiting origins, rereading foundational truths, retelling the story. These acts are not nostalgic, they are strategic. Memory strengthens identity, and identity anchors destiny. When memory is reclaimed, direction stabilizes. These dreams often change when remembrance is practiced. Landmarks reappear, names return, documents are found, the night responds to what the day reinforces. When covenant is honored while awake, it is no longer contested while asleep. The battle for memory is a battle for authority. Whoever defines the past influences the future. Dreams that challenge memory are attempts to loosen that influence. Awareness closes the breach. Destiny is not sustained by momentum alone. It is sustained by remembrance. Dreams that disturb memory are warnings that continuity is under pressure. They are not signals of loss, but of the need to reaffirm what was entrusted. When memory is guarded, destiny regains its spine. When covenant is remembered, direction becomes non-negotiable. Dreams that reveal this are not enemies, they are sentinels. Discernment is not passive awareness, it is exercised authority. Dreams that expose conflict are invitations to respond, not merely to observe. The final danger is assuming that recognition alone is enough. Authority is not restored by insight, but by action aligned with truth. When dreams reveal pressure against destiny, they are calling for engagement, not fascination. Many people recognize patterns yet remain unchanged. This is where destiny continues to leak. Dreams that repeat without resolution are not deepening mystery. They are highlighting delayed response. Discernment matures into authority only when it produces alignment, choices, boundaries, and commitments that reflect what has been seen. Authority begins internally. Dreams often shift once a decision is made, even before circumstances change. This reveals that authority is rooted in resolve. When resolve is absent, opposition persists. When resolve solidifies, resistance adjusts. Dreams function as feedback, showing whether internal alignment has occurred. Reclaiming authority also requires clarity of language. Vague intentions produce vague outcomes. Dreams that are chaotic often mirror imprecise commitments. When purpose is articulated clearly, confusion loses ground. Speaking direction aloud, naming priorities, and defining limits are acts of authority. They signal that destiny is no longer negotiable. Another aspect of reclaimed authority is timing. Discernment includes recognizing when to act, not just what to avoid. Dreams that previously warned now begin to test. The imagery shifts from obstruction to challenge. Challenges are not deterrents, they are confirmations that growth is underway. Resistance changes form when authority is exercised. There is also a relational dimension. Authority is weakened when isolation increases. Dreams that place you alone against overwhelming odds may be revealing misplaced independence. Destiny is often communal in execution, even when personal in calling. Reconnecting with counsel, accountability, and shared purpose strengthens resolve. Authority is reinforced through alignment with others who recognize the same direction. Reclaimed authority confronts fear directly. Fear does not disappear, it loses influence. Dreams begin to include confrontation instead of avoidance. You turn and face what pursued you. You speak when you once froze. These are not fantasies, they are indicators of internal shift. The night reflects the day's courage. Authority also involves stewardship. What is not stewarded is vulnerable. Dreams that showed loss now show recovery, finding what was missing, reclaiming position, restoring function. These images are not guarantees, they are responses. They suggest that vigilance has returned. Discernment without obedience breeds anxiety. Obedience without discernment breeds error. Authority integrates both. Dreams that stabilize, simplify, or clarify often indicate this integration. The imagery becomes less dramatic because conflict has been addressed. Quiet dreams are not absence of meaning, they are signs of order. Another key marker is peace. Not comfort, but steadiness. Peace allows movement without urgency and action without panic. Dreams shift from warning to affirmation. You are moving, building, speaking, completing. The narrative progresses. Progress in dreams often follows progress in alignment. Reclaimed authority does not eliminate opposition. It defines boundaries. Opposition becomes external rather than internal. The internal debate ends. Destiny no longer argues with fear, fatigue, or confusion. It proceeds despite them. Dreams reveal this shift by restoring agency. The purpose of discernment is not vigilance forever, but restoration to mission. Dreams that once demanded attention fade as waking life embodies the response. This is not loss of sensitivity, it is fulfillment of it. The signal has been received and acted upon. Destiny is not defended by awareness alone, but by alignment maintained. Authority is not claimed once, it is practiced. Dreams that guide this process are not signs of weakness, but of engagement. When authority is reclaimed, destiny is no longer vulnerable to subtle theft. It becomes anchored, defended, and expressed. Dreams cease to warn because the ground they guarded has been secured.